positive, happy, motivated, energetic. Tamilive seeks to enhance the quality of life by encouraging you to just be happier and to embrace the fullness of life. Get ready to laugh. Get ready to dance. Get ready to celebrate life with Tamilive, starting right now. Ouch!
Hello and welcome to Tamilive. This episode is all about happiness. I speak about happiness quite a bit and embracing the true essence of life and living life with positive energy. But I have come to realize that there are people who want to go down that pathway but might not know how to do it. Today's guest is going to talk about some of the things that he does to get him on that pathway of happiness. I've learned a lot about him. I've learned a lot from him, and I know you will too. Tamilive will be right back.
Log on now to jtvlive.net for news, talk shows, government and community events, and breaking news across the Virgin Islands. jtvlive.net, your television on the internet, your television on demand. Log on now to jtvlive.net, twice the power.
jtvlive.net, twice the power. jtvlive.net, twice the power.
Welcome back to Tamilive. If you've just tuned in, you're just in time. Today we'll be speaking with Ejuwenka. And those of us in the Virgin Islands, you know he needs no introduction. He is fabulous. And he hosts Spotlight right here on JTV all the time, every week, and it's fabulous. And those of you who are looking at us from different islands, you can tune in to www.jtvlive.net and look at his work. He's quite entertaining, let me tell you. But today he's here to talk to us about how we can embrace living a happier lifestyle. So let's tune in. Hello, Ejuwenka.
Peace and blessings, my sister.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Out of all the people who've sat here, no one has ever said that my couch is warm. So I hope you're feeling the love from the couch today. So let's jump right into it, because I know you're looking at me thinking, why am I here? But I'm telling you, I've spoken to a couple of people, and people who see you happy and peaceful, and they will say things like, are you happy like that all the time? Are you really? Nobody's that happy. And I've come to find out that people do want to be happy, but they don't necessarily know how to be happy. And speaking with you on several occasions, I've had the unique opportunity to get close to you. You've spoken to me about some reading material that have helped you and that are helping me too. So first, let's talk about, were you always happy, peaceful?
No, and I don't think I'm always happy and peaceful. Mm-hmm. There's some times when, there's some challenges that you have to deal with. And it's a process, I think, becoming a person who accepts circumstances when they come, who overcome challenges when they come, and who try to keep a balanced mind. You know, it's a process. It's a process, and it takes work.
But I think what's great about you is that you went ahead and sought out that information to assist you along that journey, or did you have some basics on your own?
Well, I don't know how much of it I have done. Mm-hmm. I do believe in divine intervention, and I have a strong view and I consider a strong relationship with the Creator. And I think that whatever happens to me is the Creator's doing, whether I perceive it to be good or I perceive it to be bad. I think it's, I always say to you, it's either a lesson or a blessing.
Right.
And either way is good.
Exactly.
But I wasn't always on this path. Excuse me. I went through what I like to call a born-again experience.
Born again? What brought you to that point?
Yeah. Well, and it was, some people have these experiences after a real troubling time. Whether they a loss of a loved one, or they have some tragedy in their lives or something, But I came to the realization at one point, after I'm having a good time partying.
You used to party?
Well, I still party.
You still party? Yeah, I have seen you actually.
Yeah, I haven't given up my party. But that used to be all that I did. It was
Okay.
just I work, and make money and spend money and hang out and
As many, young men do now.
And one day I started to think all of a sudden.
Just like that.
Just like that. Actually, I was in a train station on 51st Street and Broadway.
Oh, okay.
And I started to think, I was coming from lunch and I started to think, is this what life is about? You just going around, hanging out, having a good time, you're working, you work, you come home, you party, you hang out, and you have a good time.
The same schedule, the same ritual going around and around.
And is there a greater meaning to life? And it was interesting because I started wondering things like, I'm in the train station, I started wondering things like, how does a train work? And then
Do we ever stop to think about those things?
Well, it made me realize how little I knew about anything at all.
Okay.
And that was, I think, the turning point. And at that point, and I think it was the 1970 something. I can't remember the exact year, but at that point, I made a commitment to find out about things.
Because you wanted more out of life.
To find out about things. What was life about? What should I be doing? What is there to learn? And I just started reading. As a matter of fact, I came out of the train station and walked towards a bookstore, and I got a book on history. And I started reading, and from that point on, as a matter of fact, until a few minutes ago, I've been reading every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So,
Did you know initially this is what I want to look for? This is the kind of material, the kind of literature I want to read? Or did you have difficulty in finding what you liked or what spoke to you, as I said?
I just decided that I was going to read everything. I was going to check everything out, no matter what it was, no matter where it came from, no matter what the ideas were. I just decided I wanted to know everything,
right,
as much as I could, and I just started set out to do that. And what was I found interesting for me was that once I started doing that, information started coming.
Okay.
And sometimes I would go to a bookstore and I would buy $100 worth of books, for example. And I would bring the books home and I'll pick one, and I'll read it, and I'll put the rest on the shelf, and maybe 2 or 3 years later I'll get to them.
Get around the other ones.
But I would be reading other things all the time.
Right.
And then sometimes I would read a book and don't have a clue what's in it. I read this book and don't understand a thing in it. And then maybe another 5 years or so, I'll pick the book up and understand everything.
And then it comes to, because maybe that's your time to understand.
So, I came to believe, to know that there was a purpose and everything had a time, and there was some other entity, being, intelligent, divine intelligence, ordering the things that I was doing.
Okay. Because they have books like The Secret, and they talk about putting out the positive energy to the world, and it'll come back to you. Have you read it? How do you feel about that kind of concept?
Actually, I scanned through it. I really haven't read it. I scanned through it, and it's similar to some of the other things
that you've been reading.
And I also found that the information sort of is universal. So with different persons put it in their language.
Tweak it a little different here and there, but the
different wording,
foundation.
but most of the things are the same. But I think that you look, introspection is, I think, really the key.
Yes.
And you have to pay attention to your thoughts, particularly.
Right.
The things that you think, the things that you do, what you feel, and what meaning these things have for you.
Because some people, we were talking about before, because we chat quite a bit, and we're talking about how people may say something to you, and you take it on, and you become so upset about it, but it's really none of your business.
Right.
And some of the material that you've read helps you to understand that and how to move through that. So for the person who is sitting down looking at us right now thinking, yes, that's me, I do take on what people say to me. Somebody can pass me just in passing and say, oh, I don't like your shoes, and for the whole day that's what you take on. So talk to that person a little bit about some of the things you've learned.
Well, I've learned that I don't know if you could say there's a duality of a being in you, but certainly there is a part of you where you have developed an image of yourself based on external circumstances. You know, your parents, your friends, your teachers, all the persons that you've come in contact with, they give you an image of yourself, and they basically say who you are.
Right.
And for the lack of a different word, people call it the ego.
Yes.
Right? And then there is the spirit of the divine in you that is sort of like hidden with all the distractions of the environment and all the people that's telling you all these things and building this image of yourself. So when someone tells you something, that image of who you are, who you believe yourself to be,
right,
in your mind responds to that. Mm-hmm. But the real you, which is a divine, doesn't really care, doesn't take it on.
How do we get to that level?
Well, I think it's some work. You pay attention to it, and you begin to realize, well, that's what that person thinks. That's that person's projection. Mm-hmm. That's that person's thoughts.
That's not me.
It has nothing to do with
Mm-hmm.
me. What you say to me is coming from your own challenges, your daily challenges that you're having. I don't know whether you woke up on the bad side of the bed in the morning and you just
right,
come out and the first person you see, you're going to tell them something bad because you're just angry as hell.
Yes. And I want to share that anger with you.
And I want to put that anger on you. Is the evil... what's the phrase? Something misery loves company.
Misery loves. Company. Yes, yeah. Yes.
So somebody want to make you as angry as them. Mm-hmm, but you need to be aware of yourself,
right,
and aware of your thoughts, so that you say to yourself, I'm sorry for that poor person. Look how miserable she is.
Yes. And I wish she could be as happy. But maybe this is not her time.
It wouldn't take on that thing there.
But it does take work, and I've been reading quite a bit, and it helps you to get to that level. And that's why I thought this show was important, because I do want you to talk about some of the books that you've been reading, and maybe give somebody the inspiration to pick up some of those books and learn a little bit more. Well,
I tell you, there's so many books, but I've been reading recently.
Yes, sure.
Recently, I've been reading books by Eckhart Tolle.
Yes.
The New Earth is one of my favorites. Practicing the Power of Now. That's another one of my favorites. And I've been reading a few books by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Okay.
And he has a couple of books called, one is the Four Agreements.
Talk a little bit about that. It's something that we've spoken a little bit about. Share that.
The Four Agreements is four basic principles, which I think transcend all things, so you could basically live by them. And one is be impeccable with your word, so be faultless with what you say and try to always say good things and positive things.
Yes.
Don't take things personally.
Yeah,
right?
Talk about that quite a bit.
That's the one that we were just talking about, where somebody says something to you and you internalize it, you take it personally, and for the rest of your life, you're in misery because of that one thing that person said.
Right.
So don't take things personally. It's not about you. Don't make assumptions.
We do that a lot.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah, I thought he meant this when actually he didn't even see you, right?
Well, and remind me to go on to the next principle, because I go off.
I'll bring you back in.
Don't make assumptions. I think one of the worst things for the human mind is for you to think that what you believe is what you know.
What you think.
That you think as a human, as a person, that you think that what you believe is what you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Care to expand on that?
Well, belief, inherent, in my view, inherent in the nature of belief is ignorance and doubt. Now, not ignorance in the sense that you're stupid,
right? But just not knowing.
Not knowing,
right?
Yeah. When you believe something, you don't know. You believe that my truck is downstairs parked because you see me here, I got a truck.
Right.
But do you know that my truck is downstairs parked? Somebody could have given me a ride here.
That's right.
My truck could be in a shop.
Right.
But you believe, and you would go and tell your friend, you would go and tell your husband, Cromwell came to the studio in his truck. So,
how do I know that?
But you think that you know.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
And belief is a really dangerous thing.
Because so many people do that.
Yeah.
Even if it's not true at all.
Yeah.
And I think in small communities too, maybe perhaps it just spreads a little bit further.
So you make assumptions.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't know.
And it becomes true in some people's minds.
So, but belief has its value.
Okay.
In that belief is the threshold to knowledge. So you believe that I came in my truck, and if you want to know, you will go look on the veranda and check to see if my truck is actually there.
That's right. That's right.
So that's a value of
the
belief.
next step.
Yeah. So don't just stay on the realm of belief. You want to get from the realm of belief to the realm of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah.
You see, so that you don't make assumptions and do your best. The fourth principle is always do your best.
Always do your best.
So whatever you're doing, try to do
in everything.
Everything, whatever you're doing, try to do your best, because then you don't start. You know how it is. Like, and most probably you and I go through this because I know I do. You wonder about the show. Could I have said that?
Yeah.
Could I have done it differently?
Yes.
Especially
when you see it again, you said, "Oh man, I missed that opportunity."
Yes. and so so you start feeling guilty, and your spirit feels a
little off, a little wacky.
Yeah.
Yes.
You lose that
too.
You lose.
Oh, welcome, my brother.
You lose that happiness.
Yes.
Because the guilt and the fear and the concern comes in, and you wonder if you've done your best. So always do your best so that you could eliminate that feeling.
Okay.
Also, and this is not part of that those principles, but acceptance is the key. Is one of the keys to being at peace. That whatever happens to you, it has already happened, and so. What the old saying?
Don't cry over spilled milk.
Don't cry over spilled milk.
Right. A lot of us do that.
All the time.
And it doesn't do anything for you. Stop doing it.
And, we used to say we send the water under the bridge.
Yes.
You
can't go back for it. Let it go.
Let it water.
But that's something that we do struggle with as human beings every day. We think about it.
So we have to work to overcome these types of challenges so that we free our minds of all of these little things these distractions and these little attacks on our spirit that happens on a regular daily basis.
See this is why I had to bring him here, people. I know you're inspired. When we come back from the break, we're going to delve a little deeper into the life of Eduenka, and he's going to share with us some more tips of embracing that happy lifestyle. Tamilive will be right back.
Log on now to jtvlive.net for news, talk shows, government and community events, and breaking news across the Virgin Islands. jtvlive.net, your television on the internet, your television on demand. Log on now to jtvlive.net, twice the power.
jtvlive.net, twice the power. jtvlive.net, twice the power.
Welcome back to Tamilive. Today we are speaking with Eduenka. He is the host of Spotlight here on JTV, and he's also an activist and quite an interesting person. So let's tune back in. We're back with you. I just want to talk to you now before we get into the tips about being happier and what people can do. How do you feel about people who are just negative? People who just have negatives, they have nothing good to say about anything. How do you feel about that?
Well, you feel sorry for them, I guess. I wish they could be more positive. They could be happier. They don't go through the challenges that they go through. And you have to recognize that the same God that's in you is the same God that's in them. And whatever they're going through is perhaps for their good. Because I sort of live. And what I do it. My favorite parable of Jesus is the parable of the sower.
Okay.
And why that is so is because the seed is the word, and the soil is the mind. And I can't cultivate the mind. I can't tell you how to think. I can't provide the experiences and the circumstances for you to grow in the way you need to grow. Only the divine spirit can do that. So that's not my job.
Yes.
what I can do is I can give you a word. I could sow some seed. I could give you some.
And maybe that will plant to seed.
Yeah,
maybe it'll grow.
And I would only be able to give that to you if the divine spirit decides that's what you want to have at that moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm also of the view that the divine spirit is in control of every single thing that happens. Now, some people say the spirit initiates,
right,
and some people say the spirit allows.
Okay.
Well, whether God allows or He initiates,
right,
if it is true that a sparrow can't fall to the ground unless God allows it or initiates it, or He's always aware of it,
right,
and it happens through Him, then everything that's happening have to be happening through Him. Yeah.
So for you, happiness comes from the divine power. I mean, that's something that you truly believe in.
Yes.
Yeah?
You have to cultivate. You have to cultivate that in yourself, and part of that cultivation is paying attention to your thoughts. Now, we could do this right now, right? You could. I don't know how many people know that they can change their thought in mid-thought.
Let's discuss that a little further, because some people I don't think that.
I don't know how many people. It seems like it's a simple thing to me, and I would think that everybody know it. I don't know how many people pay attention to it.
Walk us through it.
But if you think on something and then change your thought.
Just like that.
Just like that. Just think on something and just change your thought. You are the ugliest person on earth, and you could go, really? So what?
Some men have that,
Or you could say, oh my God, am I really that ugly?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yes. I know when you said that, I just thought about it, and I know women out there think it too. The guy who will come up to you, he's not the best looking guy in the world, but he comes up to you, man, like he is Denzel. You know who I'm talking about. It's a mindset. It is, because maybe in his mind he's thinking, no, I'm hot stuff, and I can move and act like that and be successful.
And he exudes that confidence.
He sure does. He sure does.
And you believe it too.
Yes.
Right?
Some of us do. Some of us don't.
You believe it too.
But there's power in the mind. You're right.
But you have the will, the ability to choose. That's one of your divine gifts. The ability to choose.
Yes.
You could choose what to think. You could choose what to believe. You could choose what to say. You can choose what to eat.
To be happy.
You could choose how to be.
Let's talk about the eating for a little bit, because I do believe that has a lot to do with people and how happy they are too.
Yes.
Well, some people will say, I was talking to this girl the other day, and I said, if you cut out a lot of your sugar, it's better for your body. You're able to, just have more energy. And she said, I just cannot stop eating bread. I just can't do it. Do you think in just saying that to yourself, your mind and whole body will just reject that whole thought of not eating the bread? Do you think it's in the mind again?
But everything is in your thoughts, in your mind. Everything that happens to you, process it through your mind. You process God through your mind.
So you can lose weight through willpower. You can be successful through willpower. You can be happy.
But everything is your decision. Now you have to train, because you have to train your will. You have to develop. Let me see if I can put it a different way. Well, as far as I could tell from within myself, and most of the things I'm realizing through the process of introspection, looking into myself and judging myself,
And some people don't do that, looking at yourself and saying, where did I go wrong in a situation?
Yeah.
How could I have done that better?
So when I look at myself, I see my emotions and my five senses continually seeking pleasure.
Oh.
Right? And then I see my spirit is saying to me, that chocolate cake gonna get you.
You hear the inner voice, right?
Yeah, that chocolate cake gonna get you. Now, in between there, I have will. And I can decide to eat that chocolate cake and experience that pleasure and harm myself, or not eat the chocolate cake and be well. Right? But I have to overcome the presentation. I have to overcome the look. I have to overcome the sight. I have to overcome the memory of the taste.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the flesh the emotions and
the senses
have created a world to keep itself in power over your will.
Wow, when you break it down like that, it does sound quite challenging.
Right?
Yes.
So you now have to cultivate,
breakthrough.
But you have to cultivate your spirit so your spirit could become in control of your will instead of your emotions and your five senses.
Interesting.
I don't know if you see that.
No, I do.
Yeah.
But I never thought about it like that before. Because I'm just thinking you see the chocolate cake, but I didn't even get worked up with the five senses and how I internalize that.
Yeah, your pleasure centers, you see it looks good. You imagine the taste, it tastes good.
Yes.
You touch it, it feels good.
Yes.
You smell it, it smells good. And that creates an emotion of desire. And that desire acts on your decision. And you choose to go with that.
So for that person who's looking at us now saying, Edgewanka, that's me. I fight with the chocolate cake daily.
Right.
How do they start to cultivate? How do they start to turn that in a different direction?
Well, prayer, basically. I mean, that's the most common term.
Okay.
Affirmation is another term. Meditation is perhaps the most important, because I mean, you should try focusing on your breath, right, in and out for a period of time. You lay down flat on your back, and you. No clothes on.
Is there something
so that you don't have the feel of anything on you?
Let it go, people.
Yeah.
Let it go. Try it. I'm gonna try it at home. Okay.
So you lay flat on your back, and you could have an affirmation of your own. I'm a child of the divine. The divine is in me, and I'm in the divine.
Right.
So all good things will come to me. Right. And everything that comes to me is good.
Yes.
All is well in the all. Okay? Everything is good in God. Right? Okay. So you lay on your back.
Right.
And you focus your mind on your breath going out. And you continue to focus on your mind on the breath coming in.
Okay.
Now the big joke is, right, that your mind doesn't want to be controlled.
Oh, because you make it sound pretty easy.
Your mind does. If you get past 5 seconds, you have made a great accomplishment.
I am going to try that.
Yeah, but this is how, and I'm saying it this way to say how we are so distracted. How everything in the world have been created for our distraction to keep the pleasure centers in control of our will. Everything in the world has been created to keep our emotions and our five senses seeking pleasure and instructing our will and block God out completely. They just want to get God out of the way completely, right? So
that's very interesting.
So you trying to breathe now, and you're breathing, and for like 2 seconds you got your mind on your breath, and then your mind goes off into that person that attacked you personally this afternoon.
That's right.
And all the things that you should have said and didn't.
Yes.
And what you should have done and didn't.
And I should have knocked them out.
Yeah. And you completely forgot about your breath.
I'm gonna try that.
and it's it just happens all the time. So, but the thing to do in that situation is to just whenever you remember that you're supposed to be breathing, because you will forget. When you remember that you're supposed to be focused on your breathing, you just gently bring your mind back to that breathing and start breathing again. In another seconds, you'll go someplace else.
Yes.
But when you and constant practice, after a while, you find you could say 5 seconds, then maybe 10 seconds, then 20, then a minute, and
because everything is practice. Everything is constant practice.
It's practice. And it's a process, it's a process. So those are some of the things I think we can do to help to bring our spirit in control of our will. Fasting is a really big deal.
Fasting is a big deal?
Fasting is a big deal.
Tell me.
Because your five senses and your emotions in your body needs that to survive, needs food to live, and experience pleasure in food. We eat for pleasure. We don't eat for nutrition.
We don't?
No. Well, listen. When you go to the restaurant, you check it out. When you go
That's
to the
true. I don't think I'm going for a nutritious meal. I'm going to chow down.
You're thinking about the juiciness of the burger.
Yes.
You know, the bread and the cheese and the ketchup.
That's true.
Right? And then after you're going to have a nice slice of cake, you know, and
chocolate cake.
And a nice soda, Coke to wash it down, right? You ain't got no thought about no nutrition. You ain't hearing it. Right?
That's true.
So when you to deny your body the pleasure of eating signals to your body that you are in the process of putting your spirit in control of your will.
Really? Okay, so if somebody wants to do this and try it, how long do you fast for? How long does it take to make it, and put it
well, you
effectively?
you should consult with some authority. I mean, so that you don't kill yourself if you got medical condition,
Right.
But ordinarily, you can decide. You can get up in the morning. You can decide. Well, I'm going to have some. I'm going to just drink water for the day.
Okay.
Or I'm just going to eat fruit for the day.
Right.
You don't have to starve yourself to death.
Yes,
you decide I'm going to eat
take
fruit.
little steps, baby steps.
And it's a process,
That's very interesting. So you're cleaning the mind with the prayer and the meditation, and now you're cleaning the body with the fasting.
Yeah. Because, like you say, the sugar will make you hyper. I'm a sugar addict.
Yeah.
Right. So the sugar will make you hyper. If you eat a lot, you'll feel funny because you'll be full, your belly will be, the food will be pushing at the walls of your stomach, and you'll be sluggish. And if you eat the wrong combination of food and you create a situation where you have improper digestion, then you will get what this racial epithet.
Oh my goodness. That's a whole other show there, buddy.
Actually is, they say you get niggeritis, which it has nothing to do with the fact that you're black.
Right.
It has to do with poor digestion as a result of overeating and improper food combining.
That's another distraction taking you from focusing.
That's right.
I'm getting it.
And you can't. And when you go back to work, you can't think.
That's right.
Because your mind now is preoccupied with digestion.
See.
So all of these things that it's like a holistic approach to your spiritual growth and development. Well-being.
Yes.
It's not just one particular thing.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of things.
I'm going to try that though. Yeah. And for those who are going to try this with me, with the whole laying on your back and breathing in and out, make sure it's your own home. That would be good because you don't have on any clothes, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So it helps. Yeah, I'm just saying.
But just try to focus on something. See how long.
But you said 5 seconds.
See how long your mind can focus.
Okay.
You want to do it for more than 5 seconds. But I was making a joke that the mind is so elusive that if 5 seconds, if you get past 5 seconds, you're good because you have the tendency to stray and go off into a thought of the day or some other event that happened or just some other crazy thought that pop into your head.
Especially where we're living now, instantaneous and a hustle and bustle.
You want to know where this thought came from. It's like I go, what the hell? What was I thinking? What you doing here? Where this thought come from?
Lastly, because we're out of time. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I know you're gonna have.
Talk to people now about why it's so important to embrace a happier lifestyle. Because it's not about money. It's not about materialistic things. It's about your mind and your body and your connection with the world and the universe, I think. Talk to us about why it's so important to embrace that.
I don't know that you could strive for happiness.
No?
No, I don't know if I should encourage people to strive for happiness.
Okay. What would you suggest?
I think happiness is a byproduct. Is a manifestation of a good connection with the divine spirit, with God.
Okay.
Right. So you should be striving for a good relationship with God. Your happiness is directly related to your relationship with God.
Okay. But that's interesting that you think that. Okay.
Well, I mean, you got the other thing, is like, what is happiness?
That's right, and that's exactly why I'm having that. Because for everybody, it's a different definition.
Well, you go around all day smiling, laughing, and
that's
having
not true
a good
happiness,
time,
though.
and you think that you're happy.
Right.
But you got a whole bunch of stuff on your mind when after the laughter is done, and after you had a few drinks, and you had all the barbecue chicken, and you're out with your friends and drinking the wine and partying and having a good time, and you're quote unquote happy.
Right.
And when you go go home by yourself,
Yes.
what is the feeling then?
That's right.
You understand?
That's the kicker right there.
I think we have this, and again, our emotions and five senses got us thinking that what I just described is happiness.
And for every person, it's different.
Well,
it is.
But
I think that's a good point that you brought across, is when you're alone, and I have said that to people, being with people and being happy is one thing. When you're alone in the stillness of the night and you're by yourself, are you still smiling? Are you still happy?
Well, do you like to be by yourself?
And that's another, that's a whole other show,
Yeah, how much do you like to be by yourself?
That's correct, because if you don't like to be with yourself, then Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Thank you so much for being here. You have just given us a wealth of knowledge and so much to think about. So thank you for stopping by.
I had a great time as usual. I didn't know what to expect, and I don't know what I was going to say.
But you know, we could tango any day.
I had a really good time. Thanks for inviting me. And when you want to invite me again, I'm open to come.
Yay! Thank you so much. Woo. Tammy Live, we will be right back.
Log on now to jtvlive.net for news, talk shows, government and community events, and breaking news across the Virgin Islands. jtvlive.net, your television on the internet, your television on demand. Log on now to jtvlive.net, twice the power.
jtvlive.net, twice the power. jtvlive.net, twice the power.
Welcome back to Tammy Live. I am so grateful to have my brother on the show, Edgewenka. He's such an inspiring individual, and I learned a lot from him today, and I know you did too. I want you to try out that piece where he spoke about laying on your back, breathing in and out, and really getting those distractions out of your way. We do get caught up with distractions, and I think that kind of deters us from being truly happy and really embracing the fulfillment of life. I get up every morning and I work out. I love to work out. I feel great. I feel energized. And maybe there's something that you want to do that you're not doing that will help you feel better. Even if it's not really reaching for that happiness, but to make you feel better, I think we should start the day doing something that makes us feel good. Edgewenka spoke about prayer and meditation. Maybe you can try it. Maybe you should try it. Because life is worth living. And we all should be embracing a happier lifestyle. Don't you think? I think so too. Here is to life and the living of it. Tammy Live. Just be happy. See you next time.
Tammy Live is proudly sponsored by Skelton Group of Companies, Premier Dental, Norman Allen Photography, tglifestyles.com, and jtvlive.net. For more information about Tammy Live, log on to tamilive.tv. Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/TammyLive, or follow us on Twitter at Tammy Live Show. Here is to life and the living of it. Tammy Live, just be happy